Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Invocable Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Owsley. Well, I had planned to do something about UVA, and I will, but I've got to hit this first. I've got to hit this first. This is out from Libs of TikTok. This is an anarchist teacher that wants to burn the entire system down from, guess where? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I had to hit this first. It is a par for the course. Par for the course. You want to know why? Hold on just a second. Let me turn my... Okay. You want to know why? Because we don't deal with the University of Oklahoma. Because we don't deal with the Oklahoma State University. And the woke teacher pipeline that's coming out of both of those places. Not to mention the other universities across the country. But if we can't deal with our own, what makes us think that we can deal with anything else? So I'm just going to start off by showing the video and getting into that, and then we'll get into UVA. So and what's going on over there, because it is a, well, it's a mess all over the country. I was the first person to break any story about a university children's hospital on September 15th doing this stuff. And since then, we've had Vanderbilt out of Tennessee. Now we've got University of Virginia out of Virginia, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But first, let's get to this. If you appreciate my content, please like, subscribe, share the video, hit the bell so you can be notified when I come on to YouTube. Of course, again, my super chats are open. That's how you can support me right now. Yes, he was teaching in Owasso, Michelle. Yes, he was teaching in Owasso, and I think we're going to talk. He talks about that in the video. So here we go.
I am an anarchist. The only thing that's a problem. I am an anarchist. The only thing that's a problem here is that House Bill 1775 or something. I can get my license revoked for being too woke.
But I think it's,
you know what I mean.
You're not overly. There's ways to.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, trust me, I want to burn down the entire system.
Yeah, there's ways to introduce these ideas without broadcasting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I broadcasted too much last semester. So.
Yeah,
but eventually you want to remove Christianity from or religion from progressive thought because religion is hierarchical.
Yes, that is Tyler Wren. He used to teach at the Owasso 8th grade center until he resigned last April after these TikTok videos were highlighted by Libs of TikTok.
If your parents don't love and accept you for who you are this Christmas, f*** them. I'm your parents now. I'm proud of you. Drink some water. I love you. Bye.
I have a rather large TikTok following. Yeah. I'm an authority figure, so I'm going to give out a Christmas message of hey, if your parents don't love and support you for who you are this Christmas, them. I'm your parents now. I love you. Drink some water. I'm proud of you.
His TikTok page backdoors his secret curriculum. Here is a list of books that Tyler wants to hide from parents on his TikTok link tree.
I will say Gen Z is super progressive.
Oh, I know.
I taught in Missouri last year, not last year, but 2 years ago. I taught a philosophy 101 class. We took a political quiz. Half the kids were radical progressives. I am definitely not part of Antifa.
Yeah.
As a joke.
Yeah.
And they latched onto oh my God, it's Antifa.
They couldn't stop you. Obviously, you're teaching, so that's.
No, they definitely couldn't.
Yeah.
Also was they were super they didn't want to stand up for the parents, which I get. Yeah. I mean, it's Oklahoma, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But they definitely didn't. Nothing went on my record.
Good.
I could resign instead, so it didn't garnish my teaching experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're in the fight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
See, and the fight's in your schools. The fight's in your schools, Oklahoma. And let me tell you something. He said he was in Missouri before that. The University of Missouri is this epicenter for wokeness in the Midwest. It goes all the way back to Michael Brown and Ferguson. And the protests and stuff started there in 2015 and just spread. How do I know? I'm literally my hometown is 30 minutes from the University of Missouri. I was writing papers on this back then. So if you wonder why I know the things I know and why I have so much experience with this and why, I was able to go to the governor in 2020 and tell him what this was and how it was going to spread, which wasn't listened to in many ways. This is why, because I've been studying this stuff since 2014, 2015. But also, it's just interesting to note, he was at Owasso, this teacher, he was at Owasso Public Schools, and one semester and goes straight to Tulsa. They are looking for these teachers. This is what you must understand. They are looking for these teachers. You get me? That the DEI officers, or now student services directors, as they're going underground as, okay, they are intimately involved in the hiring process. So when one woke teacher gets canned somewhere else or resigns, right, they'll be headhunted, and as soon as there's an available position, they'll just put them right into another woke school. Okay, that's the process here. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Summer Wamier ends up teaching somewhere else, even though she resigned. Right? So I don't know what else to say. I want to highlight these books that they put up, because I've been telling you about these books for a long time. Where is it? But I mean, this is part of so he's at Will Rogers High School in Tulsa. At Will Rogers High School in Tulsa. And he's an ELA teacher. What is that? It's an English teacher. In Norman Public Schools, listen, in Norman Public Schools, the only purview that the DEI director, when she was called that, Stephanie Williams, had was directly over English. Now it's expanded because she's the student services director. But English is the key. Summer Wamier, what did she teach? English. We were all worried about history. It was a feint for English. And I've been saying that for a while too. And nobody listened, but that's okay. We got to listen now. We've got to listen now. I want to highlight the books that he wanted. Oh, here we go. So just put it a little bit further ahead.
On his TikTok link that Tyler wants to hide from parents.
So here's the books that he wants to hide from parents. How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. Right? Which I connected directly to Bria Clark a year and a half ago. Savage Inequities, White Fragility, which the precursor to White Fragility was written and published at the University of Oklahoma in 1979. Killing the Black Body, Policing the Black Man, Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. And these are all indoctrination texts. They're all Marxist indoctrination texts. Identity Marxism. That's what they are. And he went from one school to the other seamlessly. And again, I will highlight this. Legislators, if you do not go after the administrations and the companies that they're bringing in, like Bala, to set up this framework in your schools, you're done. And if you don't stop and do something about the University of Oklahoma, that's implanting this into every teacher, every single teacher that goes through those programs, every single one, done. You will not recognize this country in less than 5 years. Promise you. Because they're churning them out while saying they're not doing it. So I want to go back to the beginning.
1775 or something. I can get my license revoked.
So he could get his license revoked for being too woke. But now listen to what he says. Listen to what the undercover person says.
You know what I mean?
You're not overly. There's ways to.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, trust me, I want to burn down the entire system.
Yeah, there's ways to introduce these ideas without broadcasting it. You know what I'm saying?
And I broadcasted.
Yeah, there are ways to introduce the ideas, and it's through your teacher just subtly planting them in it. They do not teach critical race theory. They do not teach queer theory. They practice it. They practice it. And that is what you absolutely cannot let this slide by. You cannot let this slide by, Oklahoma, because there's for every one that you catch, there's 10 you don't. For every one teacher we catch, this one is at Will Rogers High School in Tulsa Public Schools. He was at Owasso Public Schools right before that. For every one you catch, there's another one you don't. So I'm just going to, where did he say over here? I wanted to, oh, that's the video from Owasso. He has a large TikTok following. Sound familiar? Oh, it's over here that he's Antifa. See? And there are direct connections between Wendy Suarez at Fox News 25 and Antifa. Get ready for that. And this guy is a part of it. They will dox you. They will threaten you. I've been doxed and threatened by all these people. And they're in the classroom with your students every day, 8 hours a day. And their only job is to radicalize your students. That's it. And look, and he says they took a political philosophy quiz.
One class, we took a political quiz. Half the kids were like radical progressives. I am definitely not part of it.
Notice he said half of the kids were radical progressives. Progressivism progresses. This is where we're going, people. This is Oklahoma. You wonder why you have, and again, we can't even get our hospitals not to stop doing trans surgeries on underage kids. I'm at a loss. And I've been telling them since October of 2020 that in order to stop, if they would have done it back then, if they would have stopped DEI at OU back then, which there was mechanisms to do it, I don't care what they say. He wouldn't be in Oklahoma right now. That's all there is to it. And we're still slow playing this. We're still bringing in all this Biden money that's going to literally build a complex, a medical school mental health complex designed to radicalize students and even alter their bodies with surgery and hormones. This is Oklahoma, Will Rogers High School, Tulsa Public Schools. I don't know. I'm going to talk about this one more tonight, but I want to get to the next one. But you cannot let your legislators off on this, because this is what's going to happen. They're using it for political capital right now to win the election. Then they're going to point it at fixes like school choice, which will not fix the problem. Say what you want about school choice. I don't care to argue it. I think it'll make it worse, but I know it won't fix it. It will not fix this problem because all the same teachers come from the same place, no matter whether they teach in a public or a private school. Doesn't matter. And there are monetary incentives for school choice schools to take on DEI, which is what he's teaching. So think about it, because if we don't do something very quickly, we were running out of time 2 years ago when I first brought this up. We were running out of time then. And your elites who sit high atop the thing in all of your local municipalities were like, ooh, I could make money. Literally. And they used ARPA funding, and they're using all kinds of things to make money off of this complex. And I'm so they're mortgaging your children to do it. They're mortgaging the futures of your children to do it. I can't even underscore that point enough. And they do. And the thing that upsets me the most is they claim they're winning while they're doing it. Because I will remind you, there are almost no Democrats in Oklahoma in power at all, anywhere. Name one that has any real power in this state. None. Almost none. I mean, there may be one, but none at the state level. None. Okay, let me get to my next story for what the thumbnail was for, which is the University of Virginia Children's Hospital offers adolescent sex change track that begins at age 11. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound familiar, Oklahoma? Does it sound familiar, my audience? Yeah, here we go again. So on September 15th, I broke the first story of these lines of stories on September 15th about OU Children's Hospital. And that led Republicans to get all up in arms because they thought their government teat might be cut from them because it was all connected to the ARPA funding. And they slid it in the back door anyway, and then ran to the Daily Wire to get them right a story that and claimed it as a win when it's not, because they're going to be building this entire apparatus. 70-bed mental health facility at OU Children's. That's going to go from schools to school counselors, referring them over there. They go to OU Children's. They get referred out to do the surgery. They come back to convalesce at OU Children's. That's what's going to happen. And the money that they're saying, well, this prohibition's going to, if they do this, they won't have any, prohibition. They won't be able to do it. No, they still will. You know what? Because after that money's run out and they're done building it, what does it matter? So they better, oh hell, they better make it criminal. Because guys, that was just the first one I have. And the Washington Post will be doing a story on it here very soon. That was just number one. Y'all thought I was messing around. I wasn't. Well, here we go. Here's the University of Virginia, the university that Thomas Jefferson started. Here we go. A patient as young as 9 years old, and this is from Chrissy Clark, who's doing awesome work. As young as 9 years old, was put on cross-sex hormones, according to one of the hospital doctors. UVA already took some of the videos down, but she's got receipts. So here we go. UVA offers puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and double mastectomies to minors, according to clinic's homepage. You want to look at this? Boy, this looks familiar. It looks like she went and looked for the exact same thing that I found in Oklahoma. Looks like we've got a model. And here is, she's got some video, which is just stellar. Just stellar. So one of the lead doctors at UVA Gender Clinic said patients are eligible for double mastectomies, removal of healthy breasts, at age 16. So let's listen to this.
Individual wants to that are on the screen. So the last thing that people ask me about is surgery. And surgery is obviously an irreversible process. When irreversible. Surgery, if the individual desires surgery, and not every transgender individual wants to go through this. And they need to be at least 18 years old. The one exception is for what's called top surgery, which is breast reconstruction or breast reduction for female to male. And there are surgeons who will do that at age 16. Things that remove your gonads or change your genitals are usually reserved for those who are legally
Usually.
able to make that decision.
But there are many exceptions, and I've got that in writing too. I told you I'm not done, right? I told you I'm not done. But, and she's saying that, okay, so they're saying that they'll allow for sure 16-year-olds to get mastectomies. Why is the state allowing doctors to do this? What feckless cowards at the state capitol in both Virginia and Oklahoma, for that matter, denied bills that would stop this? They should be run out of office. They should be absolutely run out of office. Here's another one. The same doctor called puberty blockers completely reversible. In the same speech, he said that puberty blockers can cause infertility. Infertility would mean that it's not reversible, right? That's right. So just listen. Here we go.
And so the risk is minimal. Puberty blocking medicines stop puberty, right? So your sperm or your eggs and your ovaries can't mature like they would have typically in puberty. So that's where it can affect your fertility long term.
Oh.
You have immature gametes, eggs and sperm, for the long haul.
Right. That means it's not reversible.
Cross-sex hormone therapy later. So the eligibility criteria are the same as for the puberty blocking medicines, except that they recommend starting at age 16 with cross-sex hormones. Now, cross-sex hormones at age 16, the idea of age 16 is in the Netherlands, that's the age of legality. Here, it's 18. So we adopted 16 because it seems cruel to have a teen wait all the way till 18 without having any signs of puberty develop while their peers are going through puberty. And yet a 16-year-old may be more cognitively mature to make some of these decisions about medications that may have some.
They're saying that 16-year-olds who cannot buy cigarettes would be more cognitively mature, who cannot, you can't go to war, you're still under your parents' tutelage, you can't move out. They're constantly trying to lower the age of responsibility to children whom they know are easily susceptible to being influenced or, dare I say, groomed into a certain lifestyle. This is woke conversion therapy. It literally is. It's transgender conversion therapy. Meaning they're trying to take kids who might be gay or even just straight and confused or upset about something at home or have other types of dysphoria, and they attach gender to it and then send them through the mill. That's what they're doing. And you should all be very, very, very upset about that. She also appears to talk about treating a 9-year-old with cross-sex hormones. 9 years old. This is evil. This is evil. There's no other way to put it. They should be banned from medicine. Absolutely banned from medicine. And this should be criminalized. Nationwide. I wonder what Thomas Jefferson would say about this.
Adrenal suppression or suppression of bone growth when we use those. So this is the eligibility criteria based on the Endocrine Society guidelines. They must be in puberty, they must have a DSM diagnosis, their gender dysphoria must have increased during puberty. And the part that's hard for me as a clinician is that I have to do a full consent. So I have to make sure that they understand the risks and benefits, not only of the puberty blocking medication, but the cross-sex hormones, sex reassignment surgery, fertility later. And when you have a 9-year-old coming into your office for the very first signs of puberty in a girl and they're not happy with it, they don't really have the ability to understand all of that.
Who's happy to go through puberty? But you realize that the body changes itself naturally, or we can change it surgically. We're taking what is natural and putting it in the hands of crackpot doctors looking to make a money off of mutilating your kid. I mean, I can't even begin to describe. I can't even begin to describe how I would react if I saw my child being talked to about these things, like I know they're talking to you about it with teachers. And I don't get it, folks. Why have we reinstituted ritual sacrifice in our country? We are sacrificing the fertility, the long-term happiness, the bodies of our children at the altar of what? An ideology that seeks to turn them into political shells, that seeks to make them unable to have a family of their own. She continues, a previous version of the transgender youth health FAQ form explicitly discusses suppressing menstrual periods and giving top surgery for minors. The hospital removed it from its current website, but they archived it. Good job. So why are they removing things that are supposed to be good? Why are they removing things that are supposed to be good? Let's see what this says. How can I get a chest binder that fits? Yeah, that's important. How can I suppress my menstrual periods? How and when can I get top surgery? What services can help me look and feel more feminine? This is geared at children. That means something would have to induce them to go look for it. Could it be like, I don't know, like a teacher, like the one we just saw from Libs of TikTok from Tulsa and Will Rogers? If they don't fire that teacher. And the hospital refused to respond. And here's the full story. So it's again, we've only scraped the surface. We've only scraped the surface. And these are public-private partnerships, these university hospitals. That means tax dollars are going to this. And here in Oklahoma, guys, your state tax dollars are still going to these practices. Just the mental health end of it. They're going to get them ready. And as soon as the places are built to house them and start pumping them out like sausages, and you don't have the money to hold over their head anymore to prohibit it, or OU doesn't agree to do it anymore, that's once you're not looking, they'll just start doing it again. Because they did it while you weren't looking the first time. And they know you have lives and work for a living and deal with things and can always be looking at this stuff. And they take advantage of that in order to monetize your children. If I ever hear the phrase, let the money follow the child again, I'm going to break something. Stop monetizing our children. Stop monetizing their bodies. Stop attaching price tags to their heads. This is absolutely, and what do we do about it? I've been telling you what to do about it. You have to go to your legislators and you have to, en masse, we got just a bit of movement last week, just a tiny bit of movement last week. And it still was a no win-win. They still got all the money to build all this. Sorry. Try to keep my mouth. Still a no win-win. So here's UVA. We've had Vanderbilt. We've had OU Children's, of which I was the first to bring that out. They're starting to get the message. They're starting to look for the stories just in time for election day. But what the politicians are going to do is going to be like, oh, good, you won because you elected me. And these are the same politicians in many cases that let this stuff in the first place. Especially here. So they're all going to point the finger and blame, but they're all responsible. So we need to let them know, I don't care what your party is. It does not matter to me at all. Because they all pretty much act the same way. And Democrats are pretty much a non-factor here in Oklahoma. See, UVA, they actually stand a better chance of getting rid of this. Why? Because there's an actual party system. Here, the Democrats just claim they're Republicans. This is the bluest in Oklahoma. It's the bluest red state in the country. If you haven't seen that yet, listen to my interview this morning with Jake Merrick. No more, ladies and gentlemen. They do this, and just to tag this on, they do this in the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is inclusive medicine. And ASCA, or OSCA, OSCA, are pushing your kids into this. Yep. That's literally a part of the national guidelines to do that. It's seen as the moral good. This is the new religion. Get ready. So I just challenge you this. I want you to have a memory. Okay? Here's a memory. I want you to remember this. We're fighting up to the election. The candidates are all, they're the answer. They're the answer. They're the answer. After that is when the real fight begins, because then they have to actually do something. And I guarantee you they're going to practice exactly what they just did with this ARPA funding. They're going to do a lot of I did nothings wins. A lot of no-win wins. Because we have to compromise, even though we have a supermajority. I don't get it. It's getting close, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting close. The tipping point before we can actually do anything about this. All right. Well, share this video around. Like, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be bringing you something tonight. So, and we'll talk more about that Owasso teacher, or the Tulsa Will Rogers High School teacher, and why on earth he just jumped from one school to the other. Administration, legislators, you cutting the provision in the rules from 1775 that covered extracurricular, not meaning just football and things, is why this is happening. And now it's deeper than it ever would have been. Here we go. All right. I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks.